The Honda Shadow was introduced in 1983 with two options. The larger of the two cruisers featured a liquid-cooled 745cc 45-degree V-twin with SOHC and 3 valves per cylinder. It had a 6-speed gearbox, a slipper clutch and shaft final drive. More than 19,000 Shadow 750s were sold that year. There were several other chapters in the Shadow story, but if we're following the lineage to the Phantom, significant mileposts included the shift to a 52-degree V-twin in 1988 with the 583cc Shadow VLX. The 52-degree V found its way to the larger displacement 750cc Shadow Ace in 1998, which dropped down to a 5-speed gearbox, chain final drive and no slipper clutch. The Shadow Phantom was introduced in 2010 with blacked-out styling, the introduction of fuel injection and a return to shaft drive. The 2024 Honda Shadow Phantom sees the blacked-out styling now carried through the exhaust, a good look that represents a more modern appeal. It still features a liquid-cooled 745cc 52-degree V-twin, but machine-cut cylinder head fins add a nice visual contrast that makes the engine pop. There's also a new two-tone paint scheme on the tank, LED turn signals, fork boots, shortened fenders and a new single seat. And from a customization standpoint, while the previous model's rear fender and license plate holder was one piece that had to be cut if a customer wanted to make changes, the holder on the new model can be unbolted to aid customization. Another significant update to the Phantom is its stopping power. Braking in the front is still provided by a 2-piston caliper gripping a 296mm disc, but the previous rear brake drum has been replaced by a 276mm disc and 2-piston caliper, and a new ABS version is available for an extra $300. Front suspension travel has been increased by ½ an inch but remains the same 3.5 inches in the rear courtesy of dual shocks with 5-position spring preload adjustability. Otherwise seat height is essentially the same at a very cruiser-like 25.6 inches, even though fuel capacity has been bumped 0.2 gallon to 3.9 curb weight of the 2024 model is 6 pounds lighter at 543 pounds. The middleweight cruiser market exploded during the COVID pandemic. The wave crested in 2021, but Miller said Honda is hoping the Shadow Phantom will bring in both new riders and existing cruiser fans looking for something new. I don't know about the younger generation, in more ways than just their riding preferences, but I can say this Gen X cruiser guy sure enjoyed the ride. The first thing I noticed when firing up the bike was the rumble, which was surprisingly satisfying for a Japanese bike with the stock exhaust. The Phantom continued to impress as we rolled through the streets of San Dimas, California. When we tested the 2013 Shadow Aero, it made 44.7 pound-feet of peak torque at the rear wheel, with more than 40 pound-feet available between 2,200 and 5,000 RPM. I appreciated that level of low-end grunt when pulling away from intersections in town, and it held its own as we climbed 6,000 feet on State Route 39 to Crystal Lake. The rear suspension was a little squishy in some of the bumpier parts, but that was likely a result of the preload being set for someone a little lighter than my 2+ bills. Fortunately, the new saddle is nice and cushy and didn't give me any grief during the 4 hours I was on it. The pull on the clutch lever was a little heavy, and I would rate it medium. Since I own an older cruiser, it's not anything new to me, but many bikes today are equipped with slip assist clutches, and once you get used to this feature, you notice when it's not there. I was okay with the lever pull, although a slip assist clutch would have lightened it, but there was a moment going up the twisty, narrow one-way route to Crystal Lake where a quick downshift, combined with some debris in the road, gave a hop of the rear wheel on a curve that was a little bracing. At just $8,399, The 2024 Honda Shadow Phantom may not have all the bells and whistles, but it is a very attractive proposition for either a new rider or someone looking to add another steed to their stable from a segment without a lot of competition. This is not to say that I was high-speed slaloming up the canyon. In fact, I was the most conservative of the riders that day on the winding State Route 39. As to those peg scrapes, I was once advised by my colleague and editor-in-chief of our sibling publication American Rider Kevin Duke. If you're looking for stylish, inexpensive transportation with all sorts of flexibility, this is a good choice. New riders who want to safely learn the ropes will appreciate the forgiving nature of the Phantom, and feel cool while doing it. Older riders who are downsizing can stay in the game with a motorcycle that is capable and its styling requires no apologies. Thanks to its versatility, reliability and affordability, the 2024 Honda Shadow Phantom is the kind of bike that keeps motorcycling viable and fun.